Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another inspiring author conversation. I am Navya from White Falcon Publishing, and I am delighted to have you all with us today for a deeply reflective and thought provoking discussion. Today, we are here to talk about the book Culture East and West, originally written around 1917 by Pandit Bishan, a respected scholar and principal in the Punjab Education Service, and now thoughtfully reintroduced with additional contemporary chapters by his great grandson Dinesh Kumar Kapila. This book explores profound ideas around spirituality, philosophy, faith, duty, culture, human values, and the evolving relationship between Eastern and Western thought. What makes this edition especially meaningful is the personal and intellectual bridge created by Mr. Kapila, who not only revived his great grandfather's work but also added modern reflections on faith, self awareness, war, identity, and culture blending in today's world. It is not just a republication, it is a dialogue across generations. So, without further delay, let us warmly welcome Mr. Dinesh Kumar Kapila to this conversation.
Thank
Sir,
you.
we welcome you and thank you so much for joining us today. Before we begin discussing the book, I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers and readers and share what inspired you to revisit your great grandfather's work and bring culture East and West back to the reader's own.
Good morning. Firstly, my warm thanks to White Falcon Publishing and to you for not only publishing the book, but for this interview.
It's our pleasure, sir.
Now, coming to this book, but first myself. I worked in a financial institution, a major financial institution called NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. We are the apex institution for the nation. You get to meet a cross-section of people and society when you work in such an institution, right through. In parallel, I won't say I was deeply stressed or something, but you do feel that sometimes official life, policy, implementation, working has its own pressures.
Yes.
So I took to writing more as a, I would say, a diversion.
Okay.
You start, you let it out there. You speak, you write, you write what comes to mind within some parameters since I was in service. And I took up lighter pieces first. Okay. That also White Falcon Publishing has published, The Varied Hues of Life.
Yes.
That was some sad, some romantic, some happiness, some laughter, some travelogues. Now, this book, I retired as Chief General Manager. Through my service, towards the end, sometimes families know what is there, but we may realize its value over a period of time.
Yes.
So Pandit Bishan, my great-grandfather, wrote this book. Okay. This book was with me for the last, say, 10, 15 years. My father gave it to me. Okay. Just like that he wrote it, and I have kept it, now it's yours. Okay. I said, okay. Then, you start thinking, I tried to read it. I valued it, that it's a great-grandfather's book. Perhaps it was with some other branch of the family then came to us. Now, when I looked at it, I thought, what can I do about it? I had retired. I read it. I found it in depth. Okay. He was well regarded, Pandit Bishan. He wrote in Urdu, Hindu Tehzeeb, Hindu Civilization. Okay. In 2 volumes, how it may go down, but again rises. It has its ebbs and tides. So he was a scholar by his own right. He wrote The Law of Karma. He wrote on prayer, which was compiled by Macmillan Books, New York in 1920 as part of an anthology on the power of prayer. So I started, the more I dug and the more I explored, the more I realized there's so much to it. And let me add one final point. As you cross over your late 50s and go to early 60s, okay, the way you look at a book earlier changes as your perspective changes.
Yes, definitely.
Because now you're suddenly relating, when my great-grandfather is saying faith, what did my father say? What did some other family elders or some friends say? And what are you thinking of today? If you are looking at the power of will, divinity, how will I reach out to it? Am I also exploring the same path now? And if it is resonating within me, then how do I take it across to the world today? Because then in the thought came to mind, this book is extensively researched by my great grandfather when there was no net.
Yes,
Sitting in Hoshiarpur and nearby, how did he access so many quotes, scholarly reading, put it together, and then send it off for publication to London and to Delhi and Lahore?
okay.
Means he had deep scholarship. Now, how do I relate it to the world of today? But otherwise, by itself, people would feel he wrote and that's it. So I wanted to have that connection going forward. So I myself, though not much, I'll be honest about it, but I myself have written about it. Coaching and mentoring youngsters, young officers. Then after retirement, even some young startups or youngsters trying to explore entrepreneurship or move up in life, you get certain insights. Can those be related to the book? So while the book is, I don't want to use the word, but for better, I will say theory, the the structure is more philosophical. Mine also includes short stories relating again to the same. How faith, looking within, if you are troubled, what can you do? Our own faith, Sanatan, what could be its trials and tribulations today? Our approach to war as to separate cultures and civilizations. What is common within us? What is not common within us? And how are we going about it as a world, as a people? So, as I went along, I had to chop out a few, bring back a few, because under no circumstances I wanted to make it look like I have overwhelmed my great grandfather's book.
Okay.
That should be primary.
Yes, yes,
My addition should supplement it, complement it,
yes.
but under no circumstances do I want to cross that Lakshman Rekha, where
Not-
if I turn up after 30, 40 years up there, I don't want him saying, why did you go across me? I should be
Yes.
respectful towards that.
Yes.
So I thought like that. That's how the book came about.
Okay, thank you for the introduction and this wonderful information. Okay, sir, let's move on with the questions now. So my first question from you is, sometimes old books quietly wait for the right moment to return to the world. And when you revisited your great grandfather's writing after so many years, what was the first emotion or thought that stayed with you?
See, the first thing was I would use the word pride.
Right. Yeah.
I, I did not know that somebody in my ancestors, if I can say the word,
Yes,
had
yes.
written a book which was well appreciated. Because first I thought, if I may say in Hindi, kitab hi hai. Then I looked at the end. It's not complete, but I found accolades from various scholars and others. So I realized I'm onto something which is valuable. First was that. Second, a deep connection. It's my pardada,
Yes.
my great grandfather. You feel so connected. Then slowly you ask your father, and he says, well, your grandfather also used to write. He was a leading lawyer. Then you start saying, man, there is a connection. We are all in a sort of stream
Yes.
looking at it, and how are we going about it? So that deep rooted connection was the first thing which came to me. And then, some of the chapters, they started throwing up thoughts within me. The power of will, prayer, what does it really mean? Some were beyond me, too profound for me.
Okay.
Some were resonating with me. I have been honest about it even in my note that some parts I found very tough to absorb
Okay.
because it's deeply philosophical. One has to sit back and really think after reading few lines. Some parts you immediately relate to. That's the power of that. And therefore, I started then getting that feeling of pride, connection, and talking to a few authors that should I explore taking it out again? Because it will require a lot of labor on my part. And people encouraged me from Chandigarh. Some people I know who are very good, they said, go ahead, man. I said, somebody may say, it's so different from your first book. I said, that's the quality of an author. You could be light somewhere, professional somewhere. I do professional writing also on development and management.
Okay.
And you could do this also. So they encouraged me. And therefore, I started focusing on this side. But all the said and done, you feel so related to it because of firstly the relationship itself. That relationship comes to mind straight away. It's my great grandfather. I don't know him, years apart. But just this book speaks to me. Now, all I have is one photograph of his, which I put in the book. But, well, I related to it and thought, why not? Let me just take the plunge.
Okay. But thankfully, you have written this book. It's actually a great piece of work. And, some writings may belong to another century, but their spirit remains timeless.
Yes.
Yes.
This is what it is. It is timeless, but I
Yes.
want youngsters of today to know about it.
Yes, definitely, sir. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Reading your note in the book, one notices a remarkable tradition of writing, public service, and intellectual thought running through generations in your family. Growing up in such an environment, did writing naturally become a part of your own identity too?
Well, I like to write.
Okay.
And I liked writing even initially, even in school. In Punjab University, I edited our journal of the Department of English.
Okay.
DAV, I wrote some poems, DAV College. I studied here, though I was with my father all over India when he was being transferred, when he was in service. So that part was there somewhere inside.
Okay.
But then when you join service, you play it down because you don't know how people will react to it and you don't have the time. But writing is accepted within the family. My own first cousin, my Taiji's daughter, she's a professor of English, retired now, of course, at Jalandhar. She writes anthologies of poetry, Dr. Mohini Shada.
Okay.
Then I have other family members who write well, but may not take out books or articles.
Okay.
But that streak of loving books, magazines, journals, absorbing knowledge. My own son, Prashant, who's a lawyer, reads in addition. Lawyers have to read so much, but in addition, he must read many other things. He read this book.
Okay.
In fact, to be truthful with you, the one person I gave it to after completing it was my son.
Okay. That's great.
I said, read it and tell your father honestly, should I move forward?
Okay.
And he said to me after 4 or 5 nights, Papa, go ahead. My own daughter reads, my nephew, nieces, many others read. I have been rather open about it, going into professional writing, contributing articles, writing the book, small blog pieces. Others may be more hidden, but the love of reading and literature is there.
Is there? Yes, sir, definitely. Definitely, I can.
And yes, and one more thing, the social service part. My father, post retirement, became a leading social worker. My grandfather, great grandfather were votaries of widow remarriage in those times.
Okay.
And, uplifting all sections of society. So, somewhere it resonates. If you are ready for it and it can inspire you.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
So that's how it is.
It is actually very interesting to listen to your stories, and I can definitely relate to it so much because I am also from literature background and I have also studied from Punjab University. I was in Department of English. And I also love writing and I have also been into social work. So a lot of things are relatable and it's actually interesting to listen to your story. Okay. Yeah, so okay, moving on to the next question. Your additional chapters don't try to override the original work. Instead, they seem to gently converse with it from a modern perspective. So, while writing your sections, how did you maintain that balance between respecting the original text and bringing your own voice into it?
See, as I was thinking, how would I contribute my chapters? I started thinking of a few pieces which I had on my blog or otherwise on my laptop. I was reading the book. The book mentions like what is prayer, what is communion, how would you convey to your prayers to God, what do you seek, the power of surrender, the power of will. You have to have a surrender to your divinity to really get solace or strength. Then, my first chapter itself, which I have contributed, was inspired by a colleague of mine, as I've written, Mr. D.S. Khanagwal, who came to me after my father passed away in 2024 and
Okay.
said, let us surrender ourselves to our divinity. If we surrender ourselves to our divinity, peace will come to us.
Yes.
Preserve his memory, let it resonate within you, respect his memory, but you have to let go. That let go comes by surrendering to the will of the divine.
Yes, definitely.
If you can surrender, he said to me, yourself openly and honestly to your divinity in private, in your thoughts, it will work. So that I brought it into an article by itself as the first one.
Okay.
So it became a continuation. Look within if you are troubled. In these times, people have stresses and emotions. How would you tackle them?
Yes.
Our own faith. Even let us have a sutta, a cigarette or a smoke. The idea is not to have a cigarette or a smoke, but how would you go about handling complex, catastrophic situations at times, but be calm, in control, and able to handle your emotions without pressurizing yourself. The chapters by my great grandfather say, if you are calm, your health is better.
Yes, definitely. I completely agree as well.
So now, if that is the case, the same I'm trying to say through various short stories which are interposed within the theory or the philosophy I'm exchanging. Like the person with a diamond. He's poor, he goes to the sage. The sage simply says, I found this diamond, you take it and be wealthy. And continues praying. So he goes back to the sage next day and says, take back this diamond if you may. But that calmness and peaceful attitude with which you handed it over, let me have that calmness and peace of mind. 100% I would say apocryphal. But what is happening here is, this is what it is all about. How would you go about this? Intuition. If you pray, your intuition is strong.
Yes, yes.
Like my short story on the horseman seeing an old woman. He doesn't give her a lift, a ride to the next village. Then he thinks maybe she's well to do. So he goes back and says, why don't you take a lift with me? Her intuition now warns her. She says, no. He said, just a while ago, you wanted to come with me. She said, my divinity has guided me not to ride with you. The same divinity which called you back to me has also told me to be careful with you. So that also, comes from within. If you are praying, having peace of mind, accepting what you can do. And I have said very clearly, don't need to be too deeply spiritual. If you don't understand, don't go in depth. Be ambitious, look for achieving your goals in life, but at the same time, learn to appreciate life around you and learn to be calmer about it. Maybe I'm saying this with certain years behind me. Maybe 15 years ago, I would not have been able to say this or, say it with some authority and that emotion behind it, or the clarity behind it. But this is how it can be. We have to aim for this. These
Yes.
are stressful times. We should look up for this attitude if we can cultivate.
Yes, sir, definitely. These are some beautiful words of wisdom by you. Thank you for sharing this. And let's move on to the next question. So, sir, one of your chapters says it's faith that counts always. Today's world often moves very fast, and people sometimes struggle with uncertainty and emotional exhaustion. Do you feel faith has become even more important in modern life?
Okay. Yes. Um, this is the chapter you are mentioning is
It's faith that counts always.
yes. See, uh, the issue is faith always will count. We have stressful times, as I was just saying.
Yes.
Emotions are in play. The way to success is judged by your clothes, your wealth, your possessions. This
Yes.
is not going to go away. But you also have to be realistic about your own ability and
Yes.
what are you looking for in life. Now, if your ability and potential is X and you are looking for X raised to power X, you are only going to be constraining yourself in your mind with negativity.
Yes.
What is your potential? You can fool the world, but you can't fool yourself.
Yes, sir, 100%. Yes.
So, if you can't fool yourself, within yourself, you will have a public face. As I've written somewhere a short snippet of poem on so many faces we have.
Right.
One face for the public, one face for the office, one face for some other facet of life, maybe as a writer, and one which is your genuine you, which you are within your house and your family.
Yes, right, sir, right.
Now, how do you go about it? Wherever you have to do a bit of drama bazi, do a bit of theater, push your agenda, go ahead. But stay rooted in your convictions.
Yes, sir, yes.
Be truthful to them. If you are truthful, as my great grandfather also says, in prayer, if you are sincere and transparent, then only God is going to listen to you. God keh lijiye, Bhagwan keh lijiye, Vaheguru keh lijiye, it's all the same. But you have to have that conviction and sincerity with you. Likewise, even the preacher who appeals to you is the preacher who goes from the heart rather than preaches by philosophy. So, likewise, over here, look at it. I look around me. There are so many things happening. There's greed, there
Yes.
is power struggle, there is jealousy. You have to control it to the extent you will allow it. If you do not allow that control over yourself, the only person who's going to suffer is you or your family.
Yes, definitely.
So the stress is look at your faith, examine it. I'm not talking of the philosophical mumbo jumbo, but I'm saying read it deeply, absorb it, and know its intricacies. The problem with, like, and I'll say honestly, Sanatan, most of us have reduced it to rituals. Read the thoughts behind it. In that sense, this book is also a guide map for you, for a youngster. It gives an introduction to the roots of Sanatan without going into any false claims or anything. Simply, this is what we are, and this is what the West is, and this is where we are common, and this is where we are harmonizing, maybe. Now, that thought process is how we should go about looking at it. Have your convictions, your truthfulness to yourself, your moral values always paramount in your mind. Though, as a professional banker and a man who reads a lot, I do know many who have accumulated wealth have not done it really ethically. But that's a separate chapter for me to take up somewhere else in life.
Okay.
That also is there, and I will not deny it if a youngster would ask me. But overall, let us look at it from this point of view.
Yes, sir, yes, that's a very thoughtful perspective. And faith often, becomes an anchor when life feels uncertain. So
Yes, yes, yes.
one should have faith. Okay, sir, moving on to the next question. So, my next
Mm.
question from you is I found your chapter overburdened and troubled. Do look within, especially relatable because it speaks to emotions many people quietly carry today. Was that chapter shaped by personal observation of modern life around you?
Okay. If you see even my first book, I can sometimes absorb like a sponge.
Okay,
I look around
okay,
and I look around, I observe. I may not react, but somewhere it will come out. Now, it can happen on the lighter side also. It can happen on the deeper side.
okay,
This is the deeper part.
okay,
You see jealousies, you see happiness, you see sadness. Now, I have seen, I'm doing multiple works. I chair the local blind school presently and the Society for Blind. I'm also the RWA president. Sometimes you meet people, or even a mentor, families go into siege mentality that the world is against us. I have met them. I have seen greed and lust. It may be camouflaged politely, but the root emotion is that one. How can I overcome it? How can I go across somebody? And how do you find that peace then? So there, and then even within business families, you will be surprised. I found two youngsters telling me, "Sir, you meet our parents who are partners in a business. They are unwilling to cede much control to us. In a way, when you talk next time to them, could you just sort of say, there comes a certain stage when people like me retire, so maybe people like you should also think about ceding control."
okay.
Now, and this is all happening within us.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's why I've written we have troubled lives at times. A father's control over a business to an extent where the son feels stifled, even in buying certain items of luxury. He's enjoying his life, he's working. These are certain facets which come into play. Pressures to join a certain profession or live up to a certain standard. So when you say this, then you start feeling, what is this going on around me? And I have said, in that thought, the book of knowledge and the book of life. If you seek to work on social and economic aspects and projects, know the book of life.
Okay.
Meet people, connect. The book of knowledge and the book of life are complementary. Do not deprive yourself of knowing life firsthand. You have to know life, but then you also have to know what are you looking for. Am I straying? Where am I straying? Can I pull myself back and live with harmony within myself while still trying to excel and contribute in whichever way I can? Sometimes you meet evolved souls. I know one gentleman, uh, he is, I think, 75 plus. It doesn't tell me his age.
Okay.
But even today, he can go to 5, 6,000 feet height, walk to a hamlet, do social work, guide them, get work done, and come back.
Okay.
It does not mean he has no troubles in his life. It simply means he has evolved to an extent. He says that part will continue, this part will continue. I am in harmony with myself. He has no blood pressure. He has no medical issues which are caused by stress or emotions. He leads a happy life. So when we are overburdened, look within first. The cure does not lie outside us. Sad to say. The
Yes.
outside world will remain what it is. conflicting emotions, jealousies at workplace. Your own colleagues may sometimes let you down while you think you deserved much more, being catered to at certain, uh, you know, part of your life. It may not happen, but you can't carry that grievance with you for the next 20, 30, 40 years. You have to say, this is what the world is. But within that, what can I do? So I wrote this. It is 100% knowledge of the events, talking to people, knowing them without naming anybody, because I'm not here to get embarrassed or to embarrass anyone, but to share that this is something which I picked up along the way. I'm sharing that perspective. Youngsters today will have more pressures as they go into work.
Yes, sir.
AI, software,
Yes.
changes. So many things will happen around them. It happened with us also. We have undergone a lot of changes. I started working way back in 83.
Okay.
But, right. So, you would not have been born when I was studying in MA English. Now, the issue is, how do we go about it? But first, to know that, you have to know what life is. Life is never going to be a smooth ride.
Yes, sir. It
When did
is.
it come with a promise that you will be having an absolute, smooth, happy life? If it tests you, as my great grandfather says, you become maybe a better person. A person who has not seen negativity, who has never seen discomfort, may have his own issues when they suddenly come up after 30, 40, 50 years of his life. But all said and done, all of us will have our own pain points.
Yes, sir. There is.
Keep that in harmony to the extent you can and live on. That's the essence of the book, which I'm trying to say is important for youngsters today,
It
if
is
they can
definitely.
relate it.
Yes, sir. It is
So
definitely. Yeah.
I'm
It,
catering to them and to people around 40. The older people will, in any case, relate to it and they'll go more for the first part. But the youngsters, if they read these stories and the philosophy, they'll be knowing their own culture if they are from India,
yes.
and they will also know how to go about it. It's called, you can call it a short introduction. That's that's how it is.
Definitely, sir. That's what I was also saying, that youngsters really need to read this and to know, all these philosophies to live their life peacefully, because youngsters are actually, taking a lot of stress of, I mean, things are changing rapidly every day. So it is very important for them to read this, to know all these philosophies. It is really going to help a lot of people.
I
Okay, sir.
hope so.
Yeah, it
Mm.
is, sir. It is.
Mm.
Um, okay, sir. My next question is, philosophy is often seen as abstract, but your writing repeatedly connects philosophy with everyday action and decision making. At what point did you begin feeling that philosophy should not remain only in books, but should actively guide life?
See, sometimes I listen, and the chapter on philosophy and action came about because of that.
Okay.
I find lots of gurujis, lots of people who, even in the Western media, preach a lot. It's very easy to preach that this is bad, this is immoral, this is life. But this is philosophy. How do I tell a youngster or somebody who's asking me that is life only about looking at this? Not at all. Life is action.
Yes.
Life is moving forward. Life is ambition. If we were not ambitious, we would not make progress as a society, as a person.
Yes.
So, know your philosophy, know your culture, know your religion, your divinity, seek strength from it. Now, how many of us know, if you are from Sanatan, Atma, Karma, samsara, moksha. These are thoughts which should resonate with us. But it doesn't because we have reduced it to a series of rituals. So
Yes.
seek comfort from it. Seek comfort from it. Look at what many of our, gods even said. Karma yoga, the path of selfless action. Bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. Jnana yoga, the path of knowledge. Raj yoga, the royal path of meditation. All four are okay. So have the philosophy, understand it, internalize it, but at the same time, you must realize no goal is achieved without action. You have to be aware. You have to understand your youngsters, your team around you. You have to lead them effectively. And how will you understand them, not only understand them? If you understand them by having that openness of mind, you will make yourself a better leader. So, how would you go about it? Be aware. Our problem is our focus on knowledge but not on awareness. They are different. Be aware. It's one thing to know engineering, art, science, etc.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes.
how do you develop that all around ability which comes with awareness? The trick to life is not just pure knowledge or professional knowledge, it's awareness. Build that awareness within yourself. The more aware you are, the more you will be able to move forward. And even that story which I've written, that you're going at night, the sage is also getting afraid, and he's telling a simple villager again and again, how far? He's uncomfortable in the jungle in the night. And the simple villager tells him, Sir, we will reach the village only if we keep walking. And as we will reach closer, in this darkness, you will see some light. That is what will guide us. It is our village. Have that action also been taken, which we are done doing. It's not only being, having discomfort. We are looking for action to reach also. So we have to be very clear as to where are we looking for, where are we headed, and philosophy by itself will get us nowhere. We have, let me emphasize this point to you, we have a deep love of philosophy. It should not translate into a love of status quo.
Okay.
It should translate into how do I move from this level into another actionable phase. Calmness to be sought from philosophy, but action cannot be separated from it or divorced from it. Action has its own place and importance. So do not simply look at abstract philosophy for what it is. It has to give you strength to move on. And that's why I have written somewhere, if you do not want to get deep into spirituality, do not do so. I still say, and I've written in my book, I don't know how people look at it, a good cup of coffee, a good wine, or a bit of a good whiskey, reading a good book, talking with people, watching a good movie, coming back and then working, all are okay by me. You got your peace of mind, you reflected, now you come back to action.
Right.
Choose your path, go about it. If deep philosophy and spirituality doesn't suit you, so be it. Just know the essence of it and move on in life. But stay true to it, true to your path. And that's why philosophy has its value as much as action has its value. We cannot divorce the two. I want our society to understand this. When you go to a sage, a Guruji, and you seek solace, simply philosophy will not do. He has to tell you the pathway out of it also.
Yes, sir. Yes.
If he can't tell you the pathway, then the solace which you get should give you the strength to now start working yourself onto it. See, God does not come into play, they say, but God sends you all the advice, knowledge, and strength from inside to overcome it. Bhagwan keh lijiye, God keh lijiye. So we should look at it from that.
Yes, sir. These are some wonderful teachings that I'm listening today. And yeah, these are actually wonderful thoughts and teachings that you have shared today and you have shared in your
But to, but to be honest, I'm no Pandit. I, I'm a man of action. But this book brought it out in me. My thoughts all over the years have got condensed into it through various small chapters.
Okay, okay, sir. Um, Okay, moving on to the next question, sir. So your book talks not only about difference between Eastern and Western cultures, but also about shared human values and growing understanding between them. In today's global world, do you think cultures are becoming more connected than divided?
I have been giving this a thought. I've written that in my book also. There is a certain degree of harmony. But as I think more about it, I also realize the more we know each other as different cultures, we do connect. Uh, just now, we may be connected in Chandigarh, but there are people I can be equally connected in USA, New Zealand, Portugal, Africa, anywhere. Even
Yes.
sometimes my consultancies make me do so. But the issue stays on economic issues, maybe we understand each other. But when two cultures meet each other, unless they understand each other, have that mutual respect for each other, what is going to happen is what we see at times, that insecurity which is coming. You
Yes.
react by saying, I'm getting too overwhelmed, then what happens to my own culture? It may come out by way of politics, it may come out with harshness, or it may come out suitably nuanced. But that actual thing is a fear of being overwhelmed or losing your own connect with your own culture. Some may react, even migration, some may react, so many people are coming into our country or state. What is happening around us? The way out is unless cultures understand each other. Like, for example, tourists traveling to another country. We have to respect the culture of that country also. There are many commonalities. Food, music is happening. Our own many thoughts, including yoga, are getting accepted. Some of our thoughts are very much discussed in West. We, having been ruled by the British and even subsequently, have absorbed a lot of knowledge from abroad and brought it into play. But unless we have that mutual respect and understanding and knowledge of each other as cultures, it could also lead to disharmony,
Yes,
a sort of defensiveness, a sort of defensive approach that while I am ready to interact with you, I am ready to know your culture, but you please understand me and do not overwhelm me. My own culture, my own roots, my own thoughts and philosophy and literature, which has been generated over aeons, years and years, it cannot just go away. Each society values its own generational knowledge and books, way of looking at life. We have to have that mutual respect. If we have that, harmony will be there. If we do not, as certain cultures believe, ultimately we should prevail or our thoughts should prevail, that is why we have disharmony. We have to ensure we have our knowledge and respect and awareness for each other's culture, thoughts, and philosophy. Unfortunately, it's not easy for an average human being to develop this. So, even sometimes about our own people traveling abroad, not maybe understanding the freedom accorded to certain women somewhere and mistaking it. It's a
yes.
part more born out of not understanding the culture of that place. So we have to understand ourselves as a nation. We are so many cultures. cultures of classes. Within a class, upper middle class, you will have people who are very traditional to people who are just too liberalized.
Yes, sir.
Even within our country, within our same state, within the same city, you have to have that harmony and that thought and mutual respect.
Yes.
Otherwise, what happens? You go with your group, I go with my own group. We are harmonious within our groups, but that reduces our ability to interact effectively across cultures.
Right, sir. Right.
That is what I think and
No,
look
you
forward
have
to people.
you have beautifully expressed the difference and everything. Okay, sir, moving on to the next question.
Mhm.
Like one of the most thought-provoking sections in your contribution is about the philosophical and cultural approaches to war in the East and West. So, while writing that chapter, what kind of deeper questions were you personally exploring?
See, the deeper part of it, son of a Fauji, a war hero
Yes.
who wrote military leadership in India and others. Father-son discussions revolved around one part. Uh, and with due apologies if I hurt any sentiments, Krishanji was, Bhagwan Krishanji, if I may say so, was a master strategist who taught the art of war also. Yet, we have reduced him to a figure of love and romance. Somewhere down the line, Sanatan, the deep rooted philosophy, has had this issue where we tend to gloss over the harshness of a war and that it has always occurred and will keep occurring in life. We have that, sort of feeling within us that this is there always. So, even my father has written somewhere, yes, if the end could be achieved by non military methods, even by methods of intrigue, duplicity, and fraud, I would not advocate an armed conflict. Who said this? Chanakya. But then there is the Brihaspati school of war, which I have mentioned.
Okay.
He said, ruthless and pragmatic. These schools of thought are not talked about today. So, what my father, General Rajendranath, says, a strong mental resistance to these schools of war led to a false bravado and pointless chivalry, even at the cost of victory. He has written it in his book. So, when I started to look at this book and what I would contribute, I thought, for what it's worth, I may not be an expert, but I have written about it. I have written about the Battle of Madhumati, some other battles which have been published. Let me try my hand at bringing out the Western concept of war, placing it against the Sanatan concept of war, and then what is the underlying framework, conduct of war, and how should we go about it. We have had very great thinkers on the concept of war, not that they wanted to wage war, but they said we should be ready for it. A country has to be secure within and without, outside. Chanakya has said every neighboring state is an enemy, and the enemy's enemy is my friend. These are facts of life. We have glossed it over. So when I went through it, I decided where would I look at it. So I have brought out this complete chapter where the rules of engagement in Manusmriti, Mahabharat, combatant versus non-combatant, fair fighting, who should take on whom, but the metaphysical dimension of it, and like there is a saying in Bhagavad Gita, if you are killed, you will ascend to heaven. On the contrary, if you win the war, you will enjoy the comforts of the earthly kingdom. We don't stress the second line. We are only, we talk about why should there be war. If this is the way the world is, our society should know our fundamental cultural construct, the philosophical construct of war which we have had, even if it has had its somewhat limitations at times, even then how we should go about it. And then let's be honest, even the Western school of war and the Sanatan school of war, when there is prolonged stress, like even in the Mahabharata, towards the end, Abhimanyu ka revenge,
Yes, sir.
the ending, pragmatism prevails over fair fighting concepts. But these are taken as aberrations. But what if the world was based on aberrations at times? Are we prepared for it? We should know it. So, since most of our philosophers, sages, and thought leaders have glossed it over or pretended this does not exist, I thought it prudent to include it. And therefore, I have devoted an entire short chapter which can be an introduction and a base for many to explore deeper as to what this is all about. Because with my father, I was close to him, we have had very good discussions on this. If you look at the first invasion of Sindh, it's not in the book, but I'm just telling you the context of it.
Okay.
The next invasion took 220 years. But in those 220 years, we did not prepare ourselves. So, losses, whatever, I'm not going to go into it. But the fact of life is every culture should know its concept of war, its limitations. Dharm yudh kya hai? We should know it. Why should we fight as a last resort? And why we should not shrink from a battle. And when we should wage a battle, this should come out. Then the Western point is, counterpoint is there, how they go about it. It promotes a finer understanding of the way the world looks at it, ourselves and another culture. And then we can look for broader meanings within it. That's how I looked at it.
Right, sir. So, all this certainly adds a reflective layer to the discussion of history and conflict, right? So, yeah. Okay, sir.
All the thought purely remains, as people of India, please don't gloss it over. In the end, we want to say Chandragupta became an ascetic, Ashoka became an ascetic, so and so became peace loving. Okay, but do acknowledge and read what was the war about, what's the philosophy of war, and you cannot simply say that being a guru means everything.
Yes,
You
sir.
have, or like some famous sage of ours has said, our conquest has been conquest of the mind. When your body is conquered, when your culture is conquered, you are also conquered. It's no use seeking refuge in such sayings. That's my thought.
Right, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. So, beyond the intellectual and philosophical aspects, this project also feels emotionally significant for you personally, almost like reconnecting with your roots. Did working on this book change the way you viewed your own family history?
A lot. I I wanted to add even where all are the broader family today. Not by sense of achievement, but where are we? Starting from where Pandit Bishan left us. But then, for reasons of privacy, I left it because I thought maybe some family members would not be too happy. But you get a feeling that what did he do in a time when it was so tough? And he has himself written in his own introduction that how tough a life he was leading. His wife had passed away. That's what we know, but he has not written in the book. And he was finding it very tough to handle his children and live on in life. He found solace in scholarship in his book.
Okay.
That itself is a strong point for me. That my ancestor could do so,
Yes.
And secondly, you look at your own I look upon it, well, as my son says, some people say, Jo khunta, land ka, my ancestor left me, is still with us after 100 years, landed property. I look upon it, this is my wealth. This is the wealth bequeathed to me by my ancestor by way of a very rich thought which he generated more than 100 years ago, conceived of it in a small city like Hoshiarpur, which I don't even know if we had very good libraries. I have no knowledge of that time, but it would have been a very small place. And even if you travel to Lahore, how much libraries could he access? So it's a matter of pride, connection, and reflection that if he could do it, down the line, we people can carry on. And at least some of us should have the lineage to contribute in whatever way, be it social, be it intellectual, be it knowledge, be it entrepreneurship. Contribute, but contribute ethically and make sure that at least it's heard. I don't know how many will read this book ultimately, but wherever it gets, if it resonates, if it draws a thought, if it gives people a certain connection, I would say I have done my job. And so you look at your family, a new insight comes into place because firstly you evolve yourself as a person.
Right, sir.
I was writing light pieces and more of professionalism. Now suddenly I'm aware of this world which I had partly understood but may not have really gone into. Now there's a deeper respect in me for my own culture, my own thought processes of my culture, and the way I can relate to it. It has improved me in many ways. That's the essence.
That's very moving answer, sir. Okay, we are moving to the last question, and the last question is: so this book covers spirituality, culture, ethics, self-awareness, and humanity itself. When readers finally close the book, what is the one thought or feeling you hope remains with them?
See, I'll break it into two parts.
Okay,
Readers within India, readers outside India.
okay,
Readers within India, the primary objective is please be aware of your own culture. Understand where the East and West harmonize. Understand the deep rooted philosophy of divinity, how to relate to it, the power of prayer, your willpower, its connection with health. But at the same time, appreciate your own culture, know its weaknesses and aberrations, but appreciate it, know its deep philosophical construct and where it takes. I wish libraries and such places place it where youngsters can read it from that point of view, or those who are even fond of reading and understand this. Because many a times we tend to believe the West has a deeper base of knowledge. It's not so. We have our own. We have somewhere lost our way. So we should go back to it and understand. And plenty of good books in English are also available on it. This is
right,
just one small piece of it. For the West, it is your understanding, as from a person from India wrote 100 years back or plus more. Adding today, where we are as a people of India, in Sanatan, where do we look at it? Even they can gain from certain aspects of spirituality and knowledge which we offer, where they can gain. And then in the end, where both the East and West can harmonize with each other by mutual understanding. We remain what we are, we gain strength from what we are, but where do we appreciate each other, harmonize better with each other? If we can do that, that is the thought I want to leave people with. Positivity, action, philosophy, all count together. It's a sheer continuum. So read it from that point of view that you can achieve a certain level of, if I may say so, understanding, harmony, and empathy, and within you, a certain peace of mind. It will come. And more important, build awareness. Knowledge is what our universities and colleges give. Awareness is what you will bring about yourself. Build that.
Definitely, yes, yes.
This is what, in summary, is what it is all. My message.
Okay, that's a meaningful takeaway, sir. And I believe readers will reflect on it longer after reading. Um, Okay, we are done with the questions. So, sir, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing not only your thoughts, but also such an important family legacy with readers. This conversation has been insightful, reflective, and deeply enriching. And your work reminds us that even across generations and cultures, human values, faith, and self awareness continue to connect us all. And before we conclude, would you like to share a final message to our viewers and readers? Please, sir.
The final message is a mutual appreciation and acceptance of each other as a people, as a culture, is very important. And that within Sanatan, earth, wealth, and prosperity, Vidur says, neither stolen property nor kingdom acquired by unjust means, nor the wealth of the brother, nor heavy taxation ever prosper. Only knowledge is supreme among all kinds of wealth. But the earth also means, in Hinduism, the pursuit of wealth, prosperity, and material well being. We constrained ourselves for years through socialism. I
Yes.
support a very open society and entrepreneurial society that will come by what I just read out. Ethically pursue wealth and knowledge and awareness. That's my message.
Thank you so much for this beautiful message, sir. And thank you one again. It was truly an honor speaking with you today, and we wish you many more meaningful literary journeys ahead. And I want to thank to all our viewers for joining us for this special author conversation. Do pick up Culture East and West by Pandit Bishan and Dinesh Kumar Kapila, as this book is available on Amazon, Flipkart, and White Falcon publishing stores. Read it, reflect on it, and explore the timeless dialogue between culture, spirituality, and human thought. So, thank you, everyone, and we will see you again in another author conversation. And thanks again, sir, for taking out your time and joining us today and doing this thoughtful conversation with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Grateful.